Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Missing the Action, a recap show for all of you missing out on the action. In this week's episode, Supremacy League Week 2. In last week's episode, I asked teams if they could find a way to come back even harder than PSV did. This week, they found that way. We begin with the Gold League and a matchup between Cute Collisions Under Technological Error and OPG Clubbed Seals. Cute, using a standard Kutuzov Amagi flanking group, is caught out in the open on Island of Ice's A-cap. OPG's Harakaze takes advantage of the situation, using its torpedo reload booster to quickly launch 16 torpedoes from its max range. 7 of these torpedoes hit their mark, opening up Cute's flank. OPG wins the game and subsequently the series, 2 wins, 0 losses. That wasn't the only run-in Cute had with torpedoes this week, with a very similar moment in their game against SFKJ Krakenjackers. With Game 1 essentially tied up and 1 minute remaining, SF flanked Fault Line's channel with 2 light vessels, catching Cute's Kutuzov and Bismarck by surprise. This trade was enough to win the game with mere seconds remaining. SFKJ swept the series 2-0. And yet, that wasn't the night's closest comeback. That record goes to a series between NATO, North Atlantic Detonation Organization, and ZR, Absolute Territory. Match 1 began with NATO taking a very tight formation, keeping the score even for half of the game. ZR soon launched a pincer attack on their position, forcing them into the open and pulling ahead in points. As if to forecast the future, ZR knocks out NATO's Stellenium armor at the very end, guaranteeing their Game 1 win. In Game 2, NATO took a very early lead only to spread themselves out thin, with ZR retaking the lead halfway in. With ZR up by over 450 points, NATO makes an astonishing comeback to not win the game? In the span of time between when the timer hit 0 and when the game actually ended, ZR scored another kill on Stellenium armor, giving them just enough points to win the game. ZR took the series 2-0. After this week in gold, 3 teams remain undefeated: OPG, ZR, and PSV. 2 teams, TWF and Impact, are still trying to chalk up their first win. We begin our Silver League coverage with a matchup between RQL Rage Quitting Losers and QP Quality Potatoes. Small correction, in the last episode I said QP was a new team. That's false, they're a returning team formerly known as TSF-33. This game saw RQL take early control of B and C, only to lose it as QP made a concerted effort to push their battleships into B. Following the most beautiful crossfire I've seen in a while, QP won the game and then the series 2-0. In one of the few matchups to go to a third game, APOC WP demonstrated superior positioning in pincering MIAA. Taking out 3 Argos ships in the span of 10 seconds, Warpig secures their series win 2-1. Silver saw very little movement with no change in rankings in the Atlantic Conference. Silver's Pacific Conference saw very slight movement, but otherwise teams kept their position. MLGB, QP, and SFPK remain undefeated. In Bronze, 1 team remains undefeated, AFW. 3 teams rose up in rank and 4 dropped down. Matches continue Saturday, October 14th. Matches can be watched live, covered by the commentators listed in the description below, with streams beginning at 9 PM Eastern, 6 Pacific. If you can't find the time, you can always catch the best moments in following episodes of Missing the Action. Thanks for watching. I've been your host, Quadrilus, and I'll see you on the battlefield.